Now we need to learn how to set up your Facebook analytics. And this is where we go from the bit broad general thing that is true for all analytics setups, a bit more technical and deeper. If you can't follow along all the steps, don't worry about it. I usually put a link to a source that explains it step by step. But since we have limited time tonight, I will just give you my best practices and some code examples on how to implement. Yeah. So don't be worried if you can't follow every single step. So setting up your analytics, that's the start. We did a little survey with you guys. Out of this room, who participated in the analytics survey? Nobody here, right? That's crazy, yeah? So we had 21 people that we asked in a survey, like, how does your analytics setup look like? And what do you want to get out of it? And how satisfied are you with it? These are the results. Maybe the winner, we put a prize on the people. We gave away a free workshop ticket for the people who participated, but none of them are here tonight. Yeah, nobody should get it. We're going to redo that every month now. Yeah. So next month, of course, I'm going to ask you about the traffic. What are your most successful traffic channels? And you can participate, and everybody who comes here then can win a free ticket to any of the workshops we got running out, which are worth $750 a pop. So this is what people responded to. 95% are using Google Analytics, but only 47 are using Facebook Analytics. I say only because it's crazy not to. Yeah, the only reason you should not do it if you are worried about GDPR. Yeah. So there you have to be very careful, but you can still implement it. You just have to implement it in a GDPR-conform way. Then Tag Manager is not an analytics tool. It's more like a wrapper around all of your analytics tools that makes your life easier and makes you less dependent on your devs. Then a spreadsheet, very popular thing, Piwik or Matomo, and then Hotjar, 2 people. So what did they want to get out of it? Yeah, so what are you most interested in tracking? And it is clear that most of you, or most people, are interested most in terms of acquisition. If you spend money, or if you do your social media stuff, you want to know, did I invest my time and money wisely? Who here from the room would agree that acquisition is the topic that we should focus on during the analytics part? Okay? Okay. So activation is, of course, getting the signups, getting the leads. Most of the B2B people answered this here. And then how do I track referral and revenue and retention? The more experienced and the more product-driven entrepreneurs are, the more they realize that is the jewel of analytics, because that retention is by far the hardest part in this whole game. And how happy are they on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being not very happy at all and 5 super happy with everything? The average was a 3. Yeah, and then I asked them, okay, what would make it a 5? And people were really quite open about sharing what would help them, and I tried to implement as much of that into this next section about setting it up and generating reports. So this is my just short list, my checklist on how to set up Facebook Analytics. So what do you need? You need a free Business Manager account. Who of you has access to a Facebook Business Manager account? Cool. So who hasn't, just go for free to business.facebook.com, register an account for that, and that separates most of your private life on Facebook and your business life. And all the notifications and the emails, they all go to your business email. You just have to verify once that you are a normal Facebook user that don't like fake account at all, and I would not risk using too many fake accounts, except you have a well cared for fake account. Yeah. So in that case, it makes sense. And then you need a Facebook ad account. And as soon as you create a Facebook ad account, a pixel is usually generated as well. And if not, you have to just click the button, yes, I want a Facebook pixel. And then you have to put it on your website, yeah, or your mobile app. Who of you is more thinking in terms of websites than apps? Who is thinking about Facebook Analytics for web? And who's thinking about it more for app? So for you app people, it's not the Facebook Pixel, it's the Facebook SDK. Same thing, you just create a Facebook app, not a Facebook Pixel. And in that Facebook app, there is an option for, I want the Analytics SDK. Yeah, and your developers are ready, otherwise you would not be having an app, or you have in your teammates developers and they can help you with the integration. Then if you have it on your website, Facebook now starts to analyze what are people doing, what are they clicking on, which websites are they visiting, and then you need to define the important funnel steps and convert those into Facebook events. That in a second. And then you can watch the data rolling in. And if you're interested in learning more about how this setup and installation process works for any kind of app, websites, or different programming libraries, then click the Learn More link here when you download the slides. Yeah, and it leads you to the developer documentation, to the right page to go there, and it's very simply explained. So, but how do I do it now? Yeah, in order of preference, if you have any kind of CMS, content management system or shop like Shopify or Magento or WooCommerce, use the option in the CRM. Like Shopify has by far the best Facebook Analytics integration I have seen, bar none, in any shop system. Yeah, don't go through the trouble and don't let your developer talk you into having a custom installation of your analytics code, except you're willing to spend the 20K of effort it takes. If you're willing to do that, congrats, that's awesome. You're a bit more free to do how you want it. But otherwise, they will tell you, yeah, I can do it. Tell them, do it in your free time. Yeah? And these are the specs I need for this. And they will say, okay, let's just use the Facebook pixel number field in Shopify. Next level would be plugins. In WooCommerce, there are, for example, WordPress plugins like Pixel Your Site that are just fantastic. The developers have spent month over month in developing. How is your developer worm going to repeat that in 3 days that you are going to give him for that maximum? Yeah, so use a plugin. Next level, Google Tag Manager or Segment. Yeah, Segment is just a different kind of Google Tag Manager, that I prefer to use. Google Tag Manager is for you like the most convenient way. It's just one thing you have to put on your website. It's very similar installed like Google Analytics, and since 95% of people participated have it installed, I assume they get Google Tag Manager installed as well. From then on, you don't have to ask your developers anymore to install the Facebook Pixel, the next Google Analytics, Hotjar. Everything is done through Tag Manager. It's just a little bit more effort than those two, but it gives you a ton of freedom and flexibility. And I'll show you some great resources on how to install Facebook Analytics through Google Tag Manager in a moment. And then the very last one is hard coding it into your website. Okay, just keep that in mind. If you are ever wondering, or if you ask your developers, how should we do it? They hate plugins. Yeah, because it might interfere with the rest of the code, and they're right about that. But the effort that has been done in developing those plugins cannot be overestimated. So this is how the Facebook Pixel looks like if you just put it into your header. Yeah, it's a bunch of JavaScript code, and then all those variables that you need to focus on. None of this needs to be understood. You just need to realize, oh, this is my Facebook Pixel ID. Yeah, and that's the code you usually need to plug in into Shopify or your plugin. It just asks you for this number. And then this event is a so-called tracking event, page view. That is the default event that fires on every single of your website. On Google Analytics or on Facebook, they all call it a page view. Somebody goes from one website to another, that's called a page view, they put the URL in, and we're happy. That is the basic pixel setup that you need. But you can replace this word, page view, with anything you like. Yeah, and track different steps. So let's look into that. This is the best resource I know for installing Facebook Analytics with Google Tag Manager. The guy Julian, who has this YouTube channel called Measure School, you can reach the channel just by clicking on this link or on this picture, explains everything you want to know about Google Tag Manager. I learned 80% of what I know about Tag Manager only from this YouTube channel. I think he's from Frankfurt, but he has an English-speaking channel, and I couldn't recommend it more. So if you want to invest some time in learning, it would take like a weekend to get into Tag Manager, and it gives you the flexibility to do most of the tracking, even the fancy stuff, without your developers. If you ever wondered how do I track the MailChimp form submission that does not go a thank you page, that's a Google Tag Manager solution, and a video from Julian who explains everything to you. Thank you, Julian, for doing this. So really go for it, get the slides, and look into this resource. Because I can't explain the intricacies of Google Tag Manager. Even in the workshop, it's a small segment that we can only talk about because it's a rabbit hole you can go very deep into. So there are two solutions to creating those tracking events where you exchange the word page view. Yeah? There are tracking events and there are custom conversions. Once you have the pixel on your page, you can simply say through custom conversions, that's the easier way. Oh, when people have been on the page that has /thank you in it, call it a lead. Yeah? Or you can just rename the event from page view to lead, and voila, you have the lead event. There are some advantages to both, but most of the time I recommend going this tracking event route, and I have prepared some for you to think about. So again, the tracking event is what is written there. And this is an example on how you change the code. You don't even need to repeat all of the code. You just need to repeat this line, the FBQ track name of the event. In this case, we track the purchase, and suddenly Facebook recognized that not only people have visited your website, a page view, it now realizes, oh, there was a purchase. And when you remember the example that I showed you with all the data points, you can just see, oh yeah, how many people they clicked, how many people viewed the page, and how many people bought my shit. Yeah? If we think about the beer example, yeah, the beer tour example, that is what he wants to know. How many bought? Which campaigns did they come from? How old were they? What was their gender? Where were they exactly from? Did they use an iPhone or an Android, or were they on desktop? So you can optimize your user experience for that. You get that simply from putting this event in there. But that's of course not the only event you're interested in. But here's the documentation to how you can modify those purchase events to go as deep as you like. For example, you can add a currency to it or an amount, because some purchases are more valuable than others. In the beer tour example, a private group is much more valuable than a single public client who wants to join a tour. So you want to spend more money on the people who make you more money. That's how you get that. And if you click on any of those pages, it will show you the documentation of how to modify any of those links. In a page view event, you can write what kind of content article did they go about. Was it about analytics? Was it about traffic building funnels? Was it about content? So I can judge better what people are interested in and then retarget them. Or in case of the purchase event, leave them the fuck alone for 30 days. Yeah, if you buy something on Zalando, they still stock you with the same stupid product for weeks. Yeah, of course you didn't, but look at your wife's phone maybe. Yeah, I don't know, is my wife, she's at home right now with my two daughters. I don't know that she is a Zalando fan. I have to ask her. But once you've been on Zalando, you're being stalked everywhere with what you had in your shopping cart. And even when you purchase, they don't often use the opportunity to cross-sell you. But they know what they are doing, so I have to assume it makes sense to them. So they just keep doing that. So those are the tracking ones. But which ones should you be tracking? Here I got my top list that you should keep in mind when you think about what tracking events do I need for my business. Let's go through them. So this is along the acquisition, the R metrics path of your life cycle. A page view we already talked about, but that's nothing special. People visited your website, so what? But what if you have a shop and they now go to a product detail page Don't you want to know that they visited a special site or went to your landing page or to your contact form? That is called usually a view content event, yeah, or content view. A special page that has a higher value for you. Then, did they get in contact with you? You can throw the contact event. Did they download something? Did they become a lead or did they register? Those are all the kind of pre-purchase event that Facebook has installed as standard events for you. And that makes it incredibly easy to show them in your ad reports for Facebook and Instagram ads. All the standard events are very readily available in all reports. The custom events, they are a bit difficult to get into some of the reports. But I love to use those standard events. So now they went to your shop. Don't you want to know who added something to the cart but didn't buy? For that, you need the add to cart event minus the people who purchased. That is a very popular retargeting method to do in online shops. Target anybody for 7 days who has added something to their shopping cart but did not buy. So for 7 days, you keep hunting them, and they are very likely, oh no, not very likely, they are much more likely to convert compared to anybody else who just visited your website or who had never heard about you. So you have those events, and you can rename them any way you like to fit it to your business. There is, on the link before to the developer documentation, one moment, there are all the events mentioned, and you can customize it as much as you need. You have a question about this?
Yeah, isn't that already all done by Facebook? Or is it still inserting the code and different?
Can you give me your business? Like, what do you sell? I will repeat. I will repeat it, but can you say it?
So I sell home interior products.
Lifestyle products, selling it on which platform? Shopify. That's very good because you just put in the Facebook ID, yeah, the Pixel ID, and Shopify takes care of all of that for you. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it. But let's say you had a blog as well, or a blog or a YouTube channel or any kind of content portal. And now you wanted to see, oh, what kind of articles and products were people interested in the content, and then you can retarget them to go back to Shopify, right? That would be interesting for you. And then you only need to, Shopify is taken care of. In your case, it's, as I said, it's the best Facebook Pixel e-commerce implementation that I've seen so far. It's extremely reliable in terms of data. I would even use Shopify just as the checkout. Yeah, you can just use the Facebook, the button, even on a WordPress site, and it still works wonderfully. So, in your case, problems are taken care of are if you want to expand with your content across other platforms, and, for example, if you want to connect, let's say your Instagram stories, you want to know which ones lead to that. You need to do a little bit of magic in analytics and the reporting to be able to make that connection between your Instagram stories and the page views and the purchases, because it's not that simple. Yeah. So, but you're in a good spot already through Shopify. Do you guys have another question about this? Yeah. So, what I can recommend to do is think about this. Like, do you have one tracking event for each funnel step in your customer's journey? Then you're set up good. Every important milestone your customer can take deserves to get a simple tracking event so that you can open up your ad data, for example, and see from left to right, from the very impression to the click, to the page view, to the installation, to the usage of the app, to the repeat purchase. Yeah, that is the third lesson I wanted to share with you guys today. Go for it.
So the best way is first to think about which products do I have. Then for each product I set up my funnel in different steps, and then I take for every step of the funnel an event.
Yes.
So this is the right setup.
But you don't have to set it up for each product. You have the same funnel probably for similar products. oh no, it could be different funnels, but comparable funnel steps. People go to the landing page, people sign up for the goodie, people booked a call with you, right? So you don't have to create call for product and call for product B. You can just name it contact event and then put a parameter in it and say, oh yeah, the name of the content was product A, product B. Yeah, so you have much less to do with that. And that is easily done through Google Tag Manager, where you could, for example, just put in the URL where this contact form was submitted, which will tell you easily which product that was on. Yeah, that is the way I would do. Comparable funnel steps, you don't need to customize them for each product. Just keep them the same with the same name and just put parameters one level deeper. Yeah.
There's a question from the live.
Question from the live stream?
Yeah. How can I track the sales of my Facebook traffic on Amazon?
Oh yeah, that is a good one. So here's a really tough one. How do I track the sales to Facebook? Not to Facebook, to Amazon. If I have a fulfillment by Amazon store, is anybody here in the Amazon business or sells their stuff also on Amazon? You do? Of course, you don't own the right to host any pixel on Amazon. If you check which kinds of pixels Amazon has on their website, there's nothing. It's all custom. Yeah, it's all in a black box and nobody knows what's happening on the other side. They don't even give you the personal information about the people who bought because they want to keep it for themselves. They don't want you to build your own relationship. So what can you do? You can do the following. Let's say you have an FBA business and you want to track people. One solution is to send them to a normal landing page on your own domain. And on your own domain, you can say like, throw that pixel. And then pre-qualify that lead, show them the product landing page, and then ask them on that website to buy on Amazon. Now the probability that a person who clicks on that buy on Amazon link, that he buys is much, much higher than the guy you just sent to Amazon, right? Because he has looked at the page and has made the conscious decision to go there. And if only 20% of people do it, that increases the probability already by 5. So what you can now tell Facebook, don't optimize for the purchase event, but optimize for the click button event. And if you like, you can make it even harder for the people and better for you. You can ask them, hey, do you want a 10% discount code? Then give me your name and email. And then you give them the discount code, and then you can track the purchase from those used discount codes. But at the end, you would still tell Facebook only optimize for people who left their name and email on that site. And now Facebook can learn and optimize over time. That is the magic that's being done. But you cannot directly track the purchases on Facebook. There is always going to be some wild workarounds. For example, another way to go about it. What if you would put an interesting incentive on a card, like a coupon code for the next page, for the next purchase, that is hidden on a website, on a card, a physical card within your product. So a fixed percentage of people in your audience will open that package and go to that website. And you know how many purchases you have and how many people went to that website. So you know that relationship. And from that on, you can estimate, oh yeah, when they made it to that website, they must have bought and received the product. That is an awesome opportunity to now ask them for a review on Amazon, because you now know that you only have people that are also highly engaged, that you can go for that. Another way to go about this, a third way, would be to use a tool like PixelMe, where you can at least track the people that have clicked on your ad and retarget them to go to Amazon. Yeah. So there are creative workarounds, but there is no super simple tool to do it. But the two examples, the first two ones, they are, for me, the two best ways for Amazon FBA people to use Facebook tracking. You don't always have to to only focus on the last step of the funnel. Like you, if you have a 2K sale here and it takes weeks for that to happen, that's way too much time. And for Facebook, it's super hard to optimize. Facebook says we need 50 tracking events per ad set per week in order to do this, to optimize. So for example, if I can't get 50 purchases per ad set per week in my Shopify store, I just optimize for add to cart. There are 3 to 4 times more people pressing add to cart than to purchase, and the correlation between add to cart and purchase is so high that I don't give a. Yeah, but Facebook gets the 50 events. So learning this flexibility and thinking about which events lead to the high likelihood of a conversion helps you to do better conversion optimized campaigns for Instagram and Facebook, because you can use events that happen more than 50 times per ad set, even though it's very unlikely that you have 50 purchases per week.